we'll be practicing together some breath and movement for the next 10 to 15 minutes. So as we get started, I'd like you to find an easy seat pose. We call this Sukhasana. So think crisscross applesauce on your mat or wherever you're going to practice. Once you find that seat, maybe place those hands on your knees. We're going to bring our shoulders to our ears, so breathe in here. And allow those shoulders to roll down your back. As we get started, we'll practice our breath first and then get into movement. So our breath practice today is what we call square breathing, or simply finding that same count in and same count out. So we'll show you how to manage this. And then if you want to add the other sides of that square, you certainly can. We can practice that together too. So as we breathe in, we'll breathe in through the nose, and we're going to breathe in for a count of 3. So I'll help you count. So breathe in, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Let's do that again. Breathe in for 3, 2, 1. Breathe out for 3, 2, 1. Nice. 2 more just like that. Breathe in, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out for 3, 2, 1. Breathe in, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe outside off the mouth. Just normal, natural. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the mouth. Wonderful. So that's the 2 sides of the square, right? The top and the bottom. We're going to build the other sides here now. So as you breathe in, watch me first. We'll breathe in for that count of 3, 2, 1. We'll then hold at the top for 3, 2, 1. Breathe out, 3, 2, 1. And then hold or suspend your breath at the bottom for 3, 2, 1. Great. Let's try that one more time together. Breathe in, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out, 3, 2, 1. Suspend your breath, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Breathe in through the nose. Fill, fill, fill. Breathe outside out the mouth. Wonderful. One more. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the mouth. Nice. Anytime you're feeling that feelings and things are a little bit too much to handle, coming back to this breath practice with either just the top and the bottom or finding that full square can really be beneficial in calming you down and helping you start to move in another direction. So let's breathe in, starting our practice now, lifting our arms over the head. And let's side bend to our left, allowing that right sits bone to still stay rooted on the mat. So our bottoms are fully rooted here. Breathe in, fill that right side rib. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. As you breathe in, lift those hands to the sky and finding now our side bend to the other side. So coming off to our right now. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in, lift the arms up overhead. Finding them unclasped now, begin to bring those hands down. A little forward fold. Gaze or eyes will come to the floor. Maybe you start to reach those hands out in front of you a little bit more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Walking those hands in toward one another. We're going to find our hands back behind us. So I'll turn to the side so you can see. So we want to find our fingertips toward our bottoms, the heels of our hands toward the back of our mat here. Breathe in. We're going to lift our hips up. Heart comes to the sky. Breathe out. Bring your bottoms back down. Breathe in, lift your hips to the sky. Breathe out, rolling slowly back down. Last one. Breathe in, lift, lift, lift. Breathe out, rolling down. Coming into a tabletop. So find yourself hands and knees on your mat. Our hands need to be out wide. So think 5-pointed star here. And we want our shoulders over our wrists, hips over our knees. And we're simply going to move into a little bit of cat-cow here to just move, get our spine moving as we move into this practice. So as you inhale, drop your belly button toward the floor. Lift your eyes to the sky, lift your tailbone to the sky. Draw just very gently your heart through the window of your arms. Breathe out, roll your chin toward your chest, maybe your gaze looks toward your belly button. Round your back to the sky, cat pose. Breathe in, move to cow, belly comes down, gaze looks up. Breathe out, really round that back to the sky, pressing your hands away. Breathe in, cow pose. Breathe out, cat. Moving back into our neutral tabletop here. So think, you could place chairs underneath you and maybe do your homework or eat a snack or something. And we're going to lift our right arm to the sky, a little thread the needle here, twist, bringing that right hand through the window of the left side body, right ear comes down. Maybe your left hand plants just directly in front of your face and you just gently press into the mat. Or maybe you find that left hand at 12 o'clock. So maybe you draw those fingers up in front of you and find that 12 o'clock position. Just see how that changes the stretch based on what you decide. Really opening that right side of the shoulder here. Notice how that feels on the back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Press firmly into that left hand to release that right hand from the mat. Lift it up to the sky. Maybe you roll that wrist in one direction and then the other. Just finding some of those circles here, and then placing that right hand back down. This time, inhale, lift the left arm high to the sky. And on your exhale, find it through the window of the right side body. Left ear comes to the mat. So different side, maybe it feels a little bit different of the story here. Pressing that hand into the mat. Or maybe you find that right hand at 12 o'clock. Whichever position feels good, another option might be to bring that right hand back behind you and look for that left hip crease for those right fingers. So finding just a little bit more of a twist, maybe it helps you open up the shoulders a little bit more. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. On this round, beginning to find maybe that hand next to the face, press into the right hand to lift the left hand to the sky, and then find that same circular movement with the wrist in both directions before setting yourself back down into that tabletop. So moving into a little bit of spinal balance here, we're going to lift our right foot behind us, so shoot it back, and you're going to find that heel really driving to the back of your mat. Your toes are going to come down, so they're kind of like placing toward the floor. So dialing toward the floor here. Breathe in, reach strong. And then start to lift that left arm out in front of you. Imagine shaking someone's hand here. Breathe in. As you breathe out, find that elbow tapping the knee underneath the body. Breathe in, reach long. Breathe out, tap elbow to knee. Breathe in to reach. Breathe out to crunch under the body. Breathe in, reach long. This time, place your left hand down. We're going to find our right foot crossing over the left. Allow those toes to really tuck into the floor, to the mat, and look over that left shoulder. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Begin to release that foot back long, and then set that right foot or right knee next to left. Shaking your hips side to side here. Just giving you a little bit of movement in the hips. Now we're going to find our left leg out long, so shoot it back. Toes point to the floor, heel drives back. So you're firming in that left glute here, really finding strength in the leg. Reach the right arm out in front of you. Imagine that someone is pulling you, pulling your hand, and someone else is pulling your foot. So you can get a little bit taller. Breathe in, breathe out, crunch elbow to knee underneath the body. Breathe in, reach, reach. Breathe out to crunch. Breathe in, reach long, stretch long. Breathe out, crunch. Breathe in to reach long here, and then set that right hand down. We're going to find that left foot crossing over right, left toes tuck into the mat or into the floor, and then look over that right shoulder. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Last one, breathe in here, and breathe out. On your inhale, finding that left leg out long, and then setting that left knee next to right. Again, shaking those hips side to side. We're going to begin to tuck our toes, lift our hips high to the sky. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Maybe you bend one knee and then the other. Just walking that dog. Maybe you keep both knees bent, allowing the tailbone to come a little bit higher to the sky. Either way, pressing into the heels of the hands so that your chest is shifting toward the thighs here. Breathe in. Breathe out. As you breathe in, look to your thumbs. Walk your feet to the top of your mat. Breathe in, halfway lift, bringing the palms of your hands to your shins, and stretch out long. Think that tabletop. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in, reach up, look up, hands come overhead. Breathe out, dive forward. Breathe in, find that halfway lift. Breathe out, plant your hands, step your feet back, plank pose. Breathe in here in your plank. So drive those heels back, press the arms away, or press the hands away so the back of your heart is reaching a little bit higher to the sky. Breathe in here. Breathe out, come down, knees, chest. Coming into a little bit of cobra rolls, we'll find our hands next to our ribs. As you breathe in, really drive the tops of your feet into the mat. Press into your hands and draw those little chicken wings in toward one another. Press in to lift your head, heart, shoulders. Cobra pose. Breathe out, roll down. Breathe in, press, lift into cobra. Breathe out, roll down. Breathe in, press into the backs of the feet or tops of the feet here. Rolling down. Last one. Breathe in, press into the hands. And then find the nose on the mat. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips high. Downward facing dog. Breathe in here. Breathe out. Breathe in, lift your right foot high. Breathe out, think the nose to your knee, and then find that foot at the top of the mat. So framing with your hands that right foot. Breathe in. Breathe out, drop that left knee, untuck the toe, lift your arms over your head. We call this Anjaneyasana. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out, bring the hands down. This time we're going to walk our hands toward that left knee. Start to peel those right toes to the sky. Half splits here. So reach the crown of your head to the sky first. Let's get the spine long. And then begin to bend over, well, rather surrender over that right leg. Hands are supporting you on either side of that right foot. You don't have to go too far down before you likely feel that stretch down the back of the right leg. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. As you breathe in, starting to walk the hands back up to frame that right foot. Start to tuck the left toe, lift the knee. We're going to find the right foot next to left. Plank pose here. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lift your hips high. Downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. This time, lifting your left leg high. Breathe in. Breathe out. Knee comes to nose. And then step that left foot through the window of the hands. Breathe in. Breathe out. Drop that right knee. Untuck the toe here. And begin to lift the arms up over the head. Anjaneyasana. Breathe in. Reach those fingertips to the sky. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bring the hands back down to the ground. Start to walk those hands in toward that right knee, towards your seat. Start to peel the left toes off of the mat. So heel is really driving down to the ground. Begin to find the crown of your head, reaching long, so your spine comes out long. And then begin to surrender over that left foot, that left leg here. Again, it doesn't take too far until you feel sort of that stretch down that back left leg. So don't feel that you have to go, immensely far down. It's really what feels good to your body. And everyone's a little bit different. Even the sides of our bodies can feel very different. Breathe in. Breathe out. As you breathe in, begin to walk those hands back to frame that left foot. We're going to tuck our back right toe and lift the knee, stepping left foot to meet right. Plank pose. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come knees, belly, chest. We're going to press in, find our cobra. So bring those hands next to your ribs. Tuck those elbows in and lift head, heart, shoulders. Breathe out. Nose comes down, tuck your toes, lift your hips high to the sky. Downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. This time maybe you step to the top of the mat, or maybe you walk as you did before. Breathe in. Bring those palms to your shins. Halfway lift here. Breathe out, fold down. Breathe in, lift your arms all the way up over the head. Breathe out, hands come down to heart center. Beautiful. We're going to move into a balanced pose called Vrikshasana or tree pose. So it may be helpful to find a wall. I like using this wall here if you need some extra balance assist. So we're going to begin by bringing our weight into our left foot here. So just shifting the weight in our body into that left foot, beginning to peel the right heel off of the mat, and then the toes. So your toes are pointing down to the floor. Maybe you find simply that the arch of your foot sort of frames the ankle. That's perfect. That's great. We want to start to find our right knee pointing outward here, but hips squared toward the front of our mats. If you feel that you want to get a little bit more of a balance challenge, you might lift that foot off into the shin here. And if you're looking for even a little more, you can always bring that foot to frame or to kind of plant into that left thigh. So always remembering that we want to keep our hips squared and we want to keep that knee out wide. So really thinking, engage your glutes, engage your bottom, and maybe you bring your hands heart center or maybe they stay just at your hips here. Finding a point in front of you that's not moving, we call that a drishti. So finding that can really help with your balance. But know that if you fall out, it is a-okay. Just get right back in. It's kind of what we do in life, right? We practice and practice, and if we didn't do it right the first time, just give it another go. So either using that wall behind you, or maybe finding that balance in another way. As you inhale, maybe you bring your hands to heart center. And exhale here. Inhale, reach the arms up over the head. And exhale, maybe you open those branches. You're thinking, Kate, this is not enough. You can always start to find your tree branches sort of swaying in the wind. And then, goodness, if that's not enough, you can start to close one eye and then the other. Notice how that changes your balance. Finding those hands back up overhead, drawing them to heart center, allowing that knee to come forward, and then bring that right foot down. Give your legs a shake side to side, and we'll do the other side here. So bring the weight of your body into that right foot now. And when you're ready, begin to peel that left foot off of the mat, finding your external rotation. So find that knee out to the side, keeping those hips square to the front of your mat. Start to find where you want to place your foot. So think, our bodies seem very symmetrical, maybe to the eye, but they're not. So notice that one side might be different, and what you need on another side is totally a-okay. So if you find that the other side you really amped it up, but this side you need to take it easy, that's great, go for it. When you're ready, you find that placement of your foot, and then your hands maybe come to heart center here. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. As you breathe in this time, reach the arms up over the head, and then find those branches opening out wide. Again, you find your challenge, whether it's closing the eyes, swaying the branches. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, hands come back together. Breathe out, find that knee down, foot comes down, hands through heart center, and then give it a good shake. Perfect. Find yourself back on your mat. We're going to heel toe our feet a little bit wider than hip width distance, and we'll find our toes out, our heels are coming in. We're going to move into what we call malasana or yogi squat. So I want you to reach your arms up overhead, palms will meet. And as you bring the hands down through heart center, simply squat all the way down. Beautiful. Press your elbows into your knees or into that kind of meaty part of your leg so it can open up the hips a little more. Maybe you move side to side. And if this is not comfortable, you can always find a book or something that you can place under your bottom, and that can help you. You can just sit right down on that. So again, lots of ways to do different postures. You can also just simply place your hands down and lift your bottom up, maybe all the way up here too. And it's a-okay. Our bodies are different and our shapes might look different as well. When you're ready, we're going to simply start to sit all the way down on the ground. We're going to bring our hands out in front of us. Our legs out in front of us. Hands will come out in front of us in a moment. Bring your hands up over the head. And then begin to reach them out in front of you. Looking for your feet. You may simply find your calves here. You might find your ankles. The goal is really to just get a nice stretch, a nice fold over the legs. Breathe in. Breathe out. If this doesn't feel good, you can always bend the knees a little bit more. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more round of breath. Breathe in here. Breathe out here. Bringing your arms out in front of you, we're going to start to create almost this beach ball. So imagine you're holding onto a beach ball here, creating a shape coming back up to that sort of neutral spine. So think crown of your head, that string pulling you up long. And I want you to create the letter C with your spine now. And roll yourself down all the way until your head meets the earth. Arms come up over the head. Stretch, 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 mom. Exhale, bring your knees into your chest. Maybe you rock side to side here. And when you're ready, simply begin to place one foot out long. So right foot maybe comes to the right corner of your mat. Left foot comes to the left corner. Hands might come on your belly, or maybe they come out beside you. Just finding what feels good for you, beginning to close the eyes, and starting to relax fully into the earth. Maybe you start by squeezing the fist. Really tighten those fists. Tighten, tighten, tighten. And then exhale, release them out. Breathe in, begin to tighten the forearms, tighten the biceps, triceps. And then release them fully. Begin to tighten the feet. So really curl those toes under. Tighten them really, really, really tight. And then release the feet. Tighten your calves and your thighs here. Really squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then release. Tighten your bottom, tighten your hips. Tighten your belly. Really squeeze it as tight as you can, just a little tighter. And then gently release it all down. Ready? We're going to tighten our face. So really scrunch, scrunch, scrunch your face in. And then releasing it out. Feeling how that feels so much different. All right, we're going to tighten our whole body. So give everything a really nice tight squeeze. Tighten it, tighten, tighten, tighten. And then allow everything to release. Beautiful work. Beginning to just allow your breath to flow freely. Starting to drift away. Just relaxing in this moment, knowing you've done such beautiful work. And all you have to do here now is just let go and relax. As you have the chance, maybe you stay here quite a bit longer. When you're ready, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe you find that rolling of the wrists and the ankles. And then releasing the arms up over the head, a long body stretch before finding that tightened ball, giving yourself a nice tight squeeze, thanking yourself for doing such great work, for showing up, for trying something new, for practicing maybe a very different activity than you've done ever before. And then when you're ready, maybe you start to roll yourself up into a comfortable seat, just as we started, that Sukhasana, crisscross applesauce pose. Bring your hands over your head, palms meet up toward the sky, and then drawing that light, that love that we've cultivated during this practice into our heart space. Thinking of one thing that brings you joy. Maybe it's a great movie, fantastic sweet treat, a friend that you can confide in. Maybe it's writing your thoughts as poetry or music. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it brings you deep and great joy. Bringing that thought to your mind and allowing that to color the rest of your day. Maybe giving yourself a smile. Thank you so much for practicing with me. May you be happy, healthy, safe, and free, and know that the light in my heart sees and loves the light in yours. Namaste.